baby, listen to the speaker. No matter what, just say the word. I'm loving all I see.
Pop, Perswayable. What's going on, everybody? Well, look at this. Battery notification. Mid-kite, I get a battery notification. Oh, man, that stuff bothers me so much. And, you want to go in the lobby, too, and, just be like, oh, lucky first hit. You got me on a battery notification. But the hunter and everyone's not going to believe you. So what's worse is that not only did the battery notification give him the first shot, and I have it recorded, but I have, us Italians, we want to talk a lot. We want to explain ourselves. We want to ramble. And it's like, now I got to keep my mouth shut about what happened. Because if I tell people, no one's going to believe me. So now I'm just trying to kite as long as I can. But in all fairness, he just missed his blink. So we'll call it a nice little even sort of playing field. You miss your blink and I get battery notification. And this is why photographer can be very annoying to use. I can already tell he has the wrong build for photographer. And I'm not going to really get into that too much. I'm just going to focus on what I can do. And, I know that he's going to probably get me soon. He did a good job avoiding there. So I'm actually going to show you, show me going down. This is a typical match. We're already at 3 ciphers. And this is why Mind's Eye is so great, because I can kite with her so well. Of course, it's not as good as Perfumer or Forward. You are a Mind's Eye after all. But you can still do a lot of damage with a Mind's Eye. And a lot of people have been asking me, how do you play her? What are you doing? And, there's going to be matches where, sometimes you're going to get outperformed, especially against a good hunter. It does happen. They have their lucky matches. And trust me, every time I go down early or something, I got to hear about it from the hunter in the rank lobby. Like, oh, I just got Perswayable. And it's like, man, I'm being a damn Mind's Eye. Leave me alone. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually going into the photo world. I like to go in the photo world sometimes just because if you do get knocked down, then he's got to wait for the photo world to end to really be able to start that cheer counter. And unfortunately, I wasn't really able to lose him here, which isn't something that I'm too proud of, but we're going to, obviously show it. Photographer can be difficult at times. So what my game plan here as a Mind's Eye is that I'm going to go on the rocket chair again. Hopefully I get rescued. And then from there, I just want to, kite as long as I can to give my 3 teammates enough time to get out of the match. And that's how my mind works. So a lot of people, what they'll do is, how can I escape the match? You can do that by all means. That's okay to think about. Sometimes I try to do that. But really what I try to do is I try to just kite as long as I possibly can. Just to practice as well. Remember, I tell everybody that Mind's Eye mained is somewhat relatively new compared to the experience that I have as Thief and Perfumer and Forward. So I look at these competitive gameplay modes and look at it as a learning opportunity, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to take down this last cipher soon. Hopefully that gives me a little bit of a boost. I'm trying to get to pallets at least so I can at least do a little bit of kiting here. But like I said, you can see the power in what a Mind's Eye can do. And this is, you're seeing kind of more top rank gameplay. I wouldn't say top 10, of course, but these survivors all know what they're doing. I've played against Addict when I was a top 20 hunter. Those are 2 of the players up there. And really what I'm doing now is I just want to waste as much time as I can. And I'm really putting that distance between him and I, and just using this time to really put that distance between us, continue kiting so my teammates can get away. I can tell that this photographer has not mastered his second skill yet, although I know how to counter that. And really what I'm just doing now is I'm just going to try to loop and really see how long I can kite for, maybe work on some of my transitions. Again, this person really, he's been going after me and tunneling me the entire game, and that's why I think Mind's Eye can be super dangerous. It's also going to depend on which type of hunter you have to go against, and once you're in Tier 5, you can ban a hunter, so, that's a good thing as well. I'd probably ban Geisha or Spider Queen, just because Geisha can be super annoying sometimes. But that's one of the difficulties of using Photographer, is that this hunter is not using Photographer correctly. Photographer is relatively easy to kite. He's not too difficult to kite. That's how he's playing him is different from how I would play him. That's just out of preference, of course. Going on that beach side, he didn't invest in the north too much. There's ways where you can really take down those pallets fast, and lakeside can be a little difficult. But that's the good thing about being a mind's eye, is what he did is he came to one of the stronger areas to kite, at least against a photographer. And if I was any other character, if I was a perfumer, sometimes top hunters will just leave you. They won't even, they won't even really bother too much. However, because I was mind's eye, and this is why I like to use mind's eye, it kind of forces you to come after me, right? If you leave me alone, I'm just going to I'm going to decode every single cipher machine. However, if you come after me, I'm going to make you severely pay, hopefully at least 60 seconds, right? A 60-second kite isn't too bad. And I'm going to do a video eventually of me showing people that how long you kite for is not always represented in the final statistics, that it shows you how long you're kiting for. So here I'm really working on timing. If you're asking what I'm doing, I'm working on timing. I'm working on to see, how much can I really circle around this area. Another thing to remember too is how I'm kiting photographer would vastly change if I was kiting geisha or clown. All right, so that's one of the things that I try to make clear in my videos. Is the way that I'm kiting is based on the hunter, and I know what the hunter has and what the hunter doesn't have. So I was able to do a juke here, but end up getting the terror shock. That's something that you can practice, where you go towards the window and then you loop back and have them miss. But unfortunately, mind's eye, her jumping ability through the windows is significantly reduced. So even if you get it, you're not really going to be able to do too much with it. I probably at that point in time should have ran back a little bit. There's a little tree and the thing that I can circle. The reason why I'm so critical of my gameplay is because although in this match it's going to allow us to win, the extra 5 seconds that I could have done by not climbing that window could have been the difference between winning and losing in a different match. And this is kind of how you have to reprogram your mindset a little bit. We'll show another match here. See how we do. This is the beginning of the match. I can see him coming over here, so we'll throw the pallet down. We'll do a nice little transition. Again, I try to experiment a little bit. I don't know if he has his attachment yet. I'm kind of running a little bit too much, and this is the mistake that I make. That was a big mistake. I don't know how that didn't stun him, so that was a little bug right there. So that was my mistake, is running too far over to the side over there. I should have assumed that he had his attachment. This is early game. So he's at least got one hit on me. I don't know if he has presence. I haven't really heard, or rather, I don't know if he has a presence build. So this is one of my favorite areas, is a mind's eye. And this is the difference between a mind's eye and a mechanic. And I really wanted to highlight this sort of footage. A lot of people ask me, why do I like mind's eye, in terms of, why do I suggest that mind's eye is technically a better kiter than mechanic? I definitely think mind's eye is absolutely a better kiter than mechanic, for sure. You can see through windows, you can see through walls. And, one of the biggest arguments that I always hear is, well, mechanic can, put her doll down. I can guarantee you that top hunters, that doesn't work on. And if it does work, it's very rare. So it used to work a lot easier, as hunters weren't really used to the move. But it's not as reliable as what it was 2 months ago. So having the ability to see through these walls really helps me, as I can continue just cycling through here. We're already at 2 ciphers. That's how long I've been kiting for. And that's what's incredibly important. Even if he charges, he has no idea where I'm going to go. Right now, I'm running the same route that I am. And the reason being so is that I know that he's not charging. The minute I hear him dash is the minute that I'd probably change it up, because he's more likely to run into an object. Now, so he's trying to do it now. And here's the funny thing. A lot of people are like, oh, a top tier hunter, that's not going to matter. Well, it is going to matter now, because top tier hunters no longer can use their computers. And this is the difference. You're seeing the result as to why I genuinely do not like that computer users were on the same server as mobile users. Right? So it's going to be harder for a mobile user to control that rocket dash. Now, if that was a computer user, he probably could have gotten me, depending on a few circumstances there. Regardless of if the computer user got me, I still wasted the entire match. He wasted his entire time coming after me. And this is why I think this is a relatively strong area. And because I can keep looping, right, I see that he's catching up a little bit. I can kind of use this to my advantage. I'm really just trying to work on my timing in this area. Right there, like I genuinely knew he was gonna swing. I wasn't even mad when I died because I knew he was gonna swing, but there was nothing I could do except work on my timing. Right, I looped too many times. I should have used the. Here, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, well, that was just a clown or the game. If he had rocket dash, he could have done better, perhaps." So we'll change it up. One of the things that we need to remember now is I think that we are facing a ripper, so that's going to change my kiting a little bit. It's going to seem the same, but it's really not. I'm worried about this ripper's first hit, so I'm going to try to do the best that I can to really be able to avoid that first hit. I'm going to keep looping him a few times. This is something that I'm still working on in terms of the timing. But I'm going to see if this works. We're going to, again, I like to experiment, and I know he's going to probably swing soon. Okay. All right, so he hit me. So I kind of messed up right there. Actually, I messed up pretty bad, and I should have threw that pallet down. But again, it's something that we got to work on with the timing, but we're going to recover, right? Not every single kiting session is going to be absolutely perfect, okay? But we're going to keep kiting hopefully long enough to get down to that 3-4 cipher mark and do my part. And this is what's really great about Mind's Eye. I could never do this with a mechanic. I mean, I'm sure I could kite, but I wouldn't be able to loop here just as long as what I have been. And he's doing everything as fine as what he can. And even if he had blink, I would know how to hopefully counter that. But I know he's going to use that area attack. Yep, see? And that happens often. A lot of rippers try to do that right there. And what they think, see, he just swung. So what they think is that you have that long tunnel and, oh, I'm going to use it. And a lot of times I can avoid it in that area. So despite how long this kite is, we're still at the 4 cipher mark. So still trying to do the best that I can. We got the stun, and that's me hitting the crawl feature on accident. I'm going to go back into this area. All right, now remember, this is early game, so it's easier to do this. If this was late game, I wouldn't be able to kite like this. He'd be buffed up. He'd be pretty much invisible. It'd be very hard to do this. So again, you got to know the hunter you're facing. You got to know the area that you're in. Even if he tries to juke me by going to a different side, it's not really going to matter too much because I can see him. So I'm afraid to throw this pallet down. Yeah, see, you tried to do it again. And I don't really like this spot right here. I'm trying to lead him that way. But I don't really like this spot too much, if I'm going to be honest with you. Not the whole area, but that one area where he keeps trying to hit me. And I think I might go down right here. I can't remember. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. And that was just god-awful. That was awful. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And that's a long kite. That is a very, very long kite session right there. And if I'm going to show you the good things that I'm doing, I'm going to also compliment that with some of the bad things. But I do stuff like that. Hope you guys like the film. Make sure that you guys remember I love you, and let's change the world. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.